In this episode, we continue on the characteristics of self-made millionaires in this episode 76 of The Daily Hustle. Also, we have some more fun information about some highways for you.
Broadcasting from the box that rocks and Thrive15.com world headquarters, it's The Daily Hustle with Daniel McKenna.
Folks, welcome back into episode 76 of The Daily Hustle. Marshall, I'm sorry to interrupt your texting over there, your Snapchatting, your Twittering.
I was just trying to get us some...
We've got episode 76 of The Daily Hustle to do here.
I was trying to get some more people watching.
Over here, this is episode 76. Marshall F. Morris over there, Daniel McKenna here. We're continuing the characteristics of the self-made millionaire, the 10 characteristics of the self-made millionaire. We went through the first 5. We've got 6 through 10 in this episode. Marshall.
Hello.
Got some 76 knowledge here for you.
Oh gosh.
Did you know? In colloquial American parlance, reference to 1776, the year of the signing of the United States Declaration of Independence, is typically referred to as just 76.
That's incredible.
Back in 76, that's what they're talking about.
That's touching.
Did you know? The 76ers are a professional basketball team based in Philadelphia.
I did know that.
But did you know they were professional?
Not for many years.
Did you know they're technically a professional team?
Not for many years have they been a professional team.
Did you know?
There's more.
The I-76 Western Highway is mostly in Colorado, and the I-76 Eastern Highway is mostly in Pennsylvania.
I did not know that. Thank you for telling me.
For whatever reason, there's a lot of number stats about highways, and so I always include them because you get a special like little anger in your eye whenever I bring up highways for some reason.
All right.
Okay, before we jump into characteristic number 6 here, we did not do complete self-service to characteristic number 1.
Oh gosh.
So it's worth getting into a few more details here for characteristic number 1.
This is like crossfire.
Characteristic number 1 was 3 out of 4 are self-employed, consider themselves to be entrepreneurs. Most of the others are self-employed professionals, such as doctors and accountants. Marshall was under the opinion that it does not matter whether you're self-employed or not to become a millionaire. I said it does matter because it's easier as a self-employed person than a non-self-employed person to become a millionaire. So let's get more into some specifics here because we left this out on the table. Or we didn't bring it to the table. We left it like in our pockets.
Okay.
Let's continue talking about this just a little bit here.
Okay.
Arguments that you brought up.
Yep.
For being self-employed.
Yep.
Involve tax advantages.
Yep.
Involve I can write stuff off on my taxes. I can do things that would cost me money, but I can write it off on as a business expense. Therefore, it's not income that I'm taxed on.
Correct.
Therefore, I'm potentially saving money that I would be spending.
Yeah, and so the thing is that
also before I'll let you argue back with me. Also, I don't know of how many jobs there are out there in which people become millionaires from. I think the majority of jobs are 50 grand and below, 40 grand and below. I think the average is somewhere around 30, 32. I think there are really nice jobs at 70, 80, even 100 grand. I think there are nice jobs that pay more than that. I think like top level executives get paid a lot more than that. But percentage-wise, I think there's a lot more self-employed millionaires because percentage-wise, it's easier to create that kind of money than it is to be the best in your field and get paid 300 grand a year. But argue with me. Give me your opinion. I'd like to know.
I think that being self-employed gives you more opportunity to become wealthy. Because I would say this.
Ready.
8 out of 10 businesses fail.
Go on.
Those people are self-employed.
Okay.
And so I would say that there's more people failing at being self-employed than being successful at being self-employed.
So being self-employed is kind of like a game of extremes.
That's right.
You got either the bottom of the bottom or potentially the top of the top.
Have you ever heard this? before?
I don't. You haven't said it yet, so I don't know.
Maybe not you, but maybe you've heard this phrase. Maybe not to you, or maybe it has been to you, and you've been like quick to correct them.
It'd be easier for me to respond to your question if I knew what you were going to say.
What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, you mean you're unemployed?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And so that's what most people think.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship means unemployed, because that is the majority of people that are
Fair.
self-employed and entrepreneurs. That is a majority. Now, that doesn't mean that they stay there. In fact, there's a lot of people that fail first before having their winning idea. So, I wouldn't say that is the end-all be-all. It's not like 8 out of 10 businesses fail and then the entrepreneur doesn't go start another business, you know?
Fair.
So I would say that being self-employed allows you more opportunity to make more money, because you reap more of what you sow. You reap more of what you sow. Now, if you go and you become self-employed and you choose not to itemize all of your expenses, okay, then you're actually going to pay more taxes. You will be less wealthy if you do not itemize all of your taxes and you don't take out any business expenses. You will be less wealthy. So again, okay, being self-employed is greater risk, greater reward. And so in that sense of the word, I would say it's easier, because you have the ability for further extremes, but you have to go down. You have to do it successfully in order to be a millionaire. And that's what I don't think it's I would actually say it's harder to become a millionaire. It's harder to do that. It's a lot more work. Okay? Maybe not more difficult, but more work. Okay? Maybe it's less difficult, but more work. Maybe we can arrive.
It's harder but more simple, maybe?
It's yeah. Let's say,
or maybe the other way around. Maybe it's here's one point I will give back to you. I'll give you back a point.
Oh gosh.
No, this is me agreeing with you.
It's like, whose line is it anyway?
And we keep switching roles. We're supposed to be arguing about. The majority of entrepreneurs aren't millionaires.
That's right.
Like a large majority. Mm-hmm. Just because you start your own business doesn't mean you're going to make $1 million. You still have to, similar to the self-employed people that are getting paid a lot of money for their skills and their job, you still have to be good at what you're doing. You have to have the skills. You have to be taking advantage of your tax deductions. You have to be getting better at selling your stuff. You have to be able to scale your business. These are all things that you have to be able to do to even get to that point.
That's right.
And most people don't get there.
Correct.
So in both cases, you still have to count on being one of the best in your field. Mm-hmm. You still have to count on learning about your field all the time and what you can do to improve and what you can do to get better and what you can do to make some more money. You just have to do both.
Sure.
So I'll give you that point too.
Agree to disagree.
Okay. Well, now that we got that out of our system, let's go ahead and jump back into characteristic number 6 here. Episode 75, we talked about 1 through 5. This is characteristic number 6. These are all from the book, The Millionaire Next Door, by Thomas J. Stanley, Ph.D., and William D. Danko, Ph.D. A couple of doctors that studied a bunch of millionaires, and these are the characteristics they came up with. Okay, characteristic number 6 here, Marshall. They have a, quote unquote, go to hell fund, quote unquote. In other words, they've accumulated enough wealth to live without working for 10 or more years. They have enough money to where if they quit working, they'd be cool for 10 or more years. Marshall, why would it be so important to save up such a large reserve amount? That's question number 1. And then I got a follow-up question here for you. Why is this a characteristic? Why is this normal for self-made millionaires?
I think this is related to the whole saving characteristic in the previous episode. You go listen to that. But it's important that they have set money aside that they have agreed that they are not going to touch. That it is there in the time of not having to do any work. Okay? So if they choose, they have built the time and financial freedom so that they can effectively say, okay, I don't care what you have to say. I don't really agree with you. I don't think that you're right. I'm just going to go spend my time and my money how I want to do it and not have to make decisions or interact with anybody else, regardless of what they have to say. They have reached that level of financial freedom. They have reached that level of time freedom. They've reached that level of wealth where they can do that. But the more impressive thing to me is that they've done the things along the way in order to accumulate that. That's what I think this characteristic is about, is that they would save up enough for 10 years. They don't they don't have to have a job. Okay? We've accumulated enough wealth to live without working for 10 or more years. I think that's a cool amount of sum, okay? I think that's a cool sum of money. But the important thing is that they set aside money every single month in order to get to that 10-year milestone. I think that's pretty cool.
So it's the habit that gets you there.
That's right.
It's the habit on what we talked about before, living well below your means, the habit of consistently saving and investing money. Even though they're in a place where they have a lot of money, they are affluent, they are wealthy, they're still doing those things.
Yes.
Here's the second part of that here, Marshall. When you only have $10 in your account, saving money seems like the last possible thing you could do. Right? You're just getting by. You're going paycheck to paycheck. You need that $10. What advice would you give to people who have a tough time saving money because they are living paycheck to paycheck? What advice would you give them?
I can't say what I really would say to them, but
why not?
It's maybe a little offensive.
Well, I think that's. I already said hell. I already said the H word.
Well, I was going to take it a little bit further.
Oh, wow.
But anyways, what you have to do is suck it up and just save the money. There is no advice. There is no feel-good advice. It's just like, start saving the money, dummy.
Oh, wow. You went there.
Yeah.
You went there.
Okay. No, it is hard. It's a hard habit to create. In every day that you don't start creating that habit, you're actually creating a habit of not saving. Think about that. So think about this. If you have not saved money for 18 years, okay? If you've not saved money for 18 years, you have an 18-year-old habit that you have to break. That's tough. So how do you remedy that? Well, you decide how much you're going to save sustainably, and putting away some money is better than putting away no money. And you just start saving $5 a day. And you're like, cool, that didn't hurt very much. Then the next week you do $10 a day. Then you're like, cool. Then you go to $20. And then you go to $40. And then you go to $100. And you keep increasing the amount that you're saving every single week until you get to approximately, I would recommend 10% of your paycheck every single week. And that's how much you need to be saving on a regular basis. So if you want to ease into it, you can do it. My recommendation to you is there's no silver lining to it. Just start saving 10% immediately.
Your only two moves are to cut expenses.
Yep.
Or to make more money.
That's right.
Those are your only two moves. So if you are in that spot where you only have $10 in your account and you couldn't possibly think about saving money, I get it. I know several good people that work hard that live paycheck to paycheck. That's a lot of people. It's a lot of Americans. But the only two moves you have are to cut expenses and to make more money. And that's why being self-employed is potentially an easier way to get there, because when you're self-employed, yeah, there is a lot more work. Yeah, it is complicated. But you also have potential control over making more money. Whereas if you're employed, you can do a better job, you can provide more value, but then you're still waiting on somebody else to pay you more money.
Yep.
And it's their decision.
Mm-hmm.
That was number 6. Number 7 here, Marshall. Only 17% of them, or their spouses, ever attended a private elementary or private high school, but 55% of their children are currently attending or have attended private schools. So they're saying that the majority of them, the vast majority of millionaires, didn't have really fancy formal schooling, but the majority of them have their kids going through fancy formal schooling. What's your takeaway from this?
Takeaway is the same as the first generation affluent, wealthy people, first generation, in that your where you start. Can you look up this quote, Dan?
I'm ready.
Where you start, if you start off poor, that's not your fault. But remaining poor is your fault. Okay? So just because you're in public school doesn't mean that you can't become wealthy. Private school does not guarantee wealth. Okay? But nor does, but the fact of the matter is all the wealthy people, all the millionaires, I don't know, this might just be this might be a stat because of the public education system is a little bit crazy right now. And so maybe that's why they're putting them in private schools. That's probably what I would speculate to say that this particular stat is. So it doesn't, just being in public school doesn't mean that you can't be wealthy. But furthermore, in order for their children to be better educated for the future, that's why all the wealthy members, all the wealthy millionaires are putting their kids in private school.
The quote is from Bill Gates: "If you are born poor, it's not your mistake, but if you die poor, it's your mistake."
There you go.
That's the Bill Gates quote.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's that there is value in higher education. There is value in having education that pushes you and pushes your mind and puts you in a scenario where you're surrounded by people that think in a more highly sort of output. A lot of entrepreneurs will discourage people from school, and that's more of like a cost trade-off, right? Like ROI. Like, you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on what degree now? Now, there is a lot of value in going to Harvard and getting your business degree because that's going to open up a lot of doors for you to get a sweet job, right? But going to Harvard and getting a philosophy degree isn't going to help you much. The point here is that there is some value in having high-level education, but that won't stop you from being able to be successful if you don't.
That's right.
Okay. Number eight here, Marshall. Number 8. About two-thirds of them work between 45 and 55 hours per week. Now, they're already millionaires, and they're still working a little bit more than what people would consider a normal workload during a week. They're already millionaires. They've already got the money. They've already got 10 years of money sitting around where they could quit today and be cool for a decade. But they're still working even a little bit more than full-time. Marshall, what's your takeaway here from characteristic number 8?
Characteristic number 8 is, it's pretty simple. If you and I are going to point A, or we're at point A and we're going to point B, okay? And we're both headed to point B. And you're willing to work 80 hours a week, and I'm willing to work 40 hours a week. You're going to get there twice as fast as I do. So, by the same token, if we're all given the same amount of time and the wealthy, the millionaires, are willing to work more hours, they're going to go further or faster down that path as you are. Bottom line, you want to reap more, then you got to sow more. Okay? If you want to reap a larger harvest, you got to put more time in to sow and till the field. Okay? Elon Musk, he says work like hell. I mean, you got to put into 80 to 100 hour weeks. Well, most people see like Elon Musk and they're like, oh, I'd like to own an electric car company.
Elon Musk, that'd be cool.
Elon Musk, I'd love to, be able to invest $200 million into my own company of my own money. That'd be cool.
To fund whatever idea I have.
I'd like to be responsible for sending humans to Mars. Like, a guy. That's pretty cool. But like Elon Musk slept on a beanbag for years when he was developing his first company. He would code for 20 hours a day and then fall asleep for 4 hours on a beanbag. It's insane. So, this again right now, if you're not working 60 hours a week and complaining, then start working 60 hours a week. If you're working 40 hours a week and you're not complaining, then who the heck cares?
Yeah. If you're working 40 hours a week and you're happy, then you already won, right?
Then you won.
But if you're working 40 hours a week and you're saying, I'm not making enough money.
And you said something that's important for everybody to hear. We've decided to go down this road of characteristics of millionaires and the wealthy. Being a millionaire and wealthy does not equate to happiness. If your happiness is not being a millionaire and wealthy, then don't worry about that. Just like your milestone, your mark can be far less. And that's cool. But if you believe that your happiness lies within having a lifestyle that requires more time and more money, then these characteristics will help you get there, because this is what other people have done. But don't feel bad if that's not you.
I 100% agree. If you would rather move to France and be a teacher and live off of 20 grand a year, but that's like you're happy. You get to live in the place you want to live in. You get to drink coffee every day. You love the scenery, whatever. Then that's a lot better than struggling to make 70 grand and live in a place you don't want to be and not be happy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, all of these characteristics we're talking about are for the people that do in their, like, they have that drive, they have that ambition to get there. And it's not that having money will make you happy. It's A, some of the accomplishment will probably help you be happy. But B, it'll also give you a lot more options of what you could do with your time, what you could do with your money.
That's right.
Okay. That was number 8. Number 9, characteristic number 9, they are fastidious investors. On average, they invest nearly 20% of their household realized income each year. Most invest at least 15%. 79% have at least one account with a brokerage company, and they make their own investment decisions. Marshall, we've talked about this, but why do millionaires continue to invest 20% of their income each year?
It's sacrificing the short term for the payoff in the long term.
Even when you already have the money.
That's right. Yep. Put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. Just guard that basket. So you put it all, you save it all, and the ultra millionaires, the top like 0.1% of the 1%. You know, why is Warren Buffett? Homie lives in Omaha.
In the same, again, that's worth looking up. If you haven't Googled
his house, it is awesome.
And not for the reason of why you'd say this billionaire's house is awesome. It's not what you think.
He does things like uses checklists. He does things like reads books on his private jet. He does things like wearing, just suits, and just doesn't. You never see him doing like extravagant things. He's not like base jumping or like driving, Maseratis or doing these like he has beachfront. You don't see those pictures. It's weird that none of the things that you see him do are ever on those YouTube ads or those Facebook ads in your newsfeed. It's a weird deal. But like Warren Buffett, his big thing is he just reinvests all of his wealth.
That's what he enjoys doing.
That's what he enjoys doing, and he's really good at it, and he continues to be successful. He reinvests. He sacrifices the short term for long-term gains.
Warren Buffett net worth,
yes,
according to Forbes,
hit me with it.
$39 billion with a B.
$39 billion.
From his home in Omaha, Nebraska. Annual property taxes.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
$13,000.
That's awesome. There you go.
So it's a nice little house. It's a nice house.
Is there a picture of it?
There is a picture of it.
Is it a one story?
No, there is 2 stories.
Oh, I think but it's like quaint, right?
I mean, here in Tulsa, this would probably be probably a $250,000 house.
Yeah, it's just like, what the heck?
Nice little house.
Yeah.
Annual property taxes of $13,000.
Insane.
Worth $39 billion.
That's my point.
Yeah. Okay, last one here. Last one, characteristic number 10. Hold nearly 20% of household wealth in transaction securities, such as publicly traded stocks, and mutual funds. On average, 21% of the household's wealth is in their private businesses. So this whole time we've been talking about being self-employed. But now they're saying, on average, for self-made millionaires, only 21% of their household wealth is in that specific business. 20% of it is in stocks and bonds and mutual funds, which leads a lot of other avenues for like, well, where's the other 60% come from? Marshall, what does this say about some diversification of assets here, Marshall? What does that mean?
They're doing two things. One, they're betting on the market. Okay, they're investing in the market with the belief that the market over time is going to go up. We, as a collective whole, us as a community, we're going to improve. Okay, the publicly or privately traded companies that I'm investing in, we believe to go up over time. Okay, and then the other side of the coin is they're spending 20% of their household's wealth on betting on themselves. I believe in myself, and I believe that I myself are going to be successful. Therefore, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to take money and I'm going to throw it at myself.
Wow,
you like that?
I did like that.
So that's what they're talking about here. Is they believe in themselves, and so they're reinvesting in themselves. So, for an example, investing in your own company. Okay, we're talking about being self-employed, so they're reinvesting in the business rather than taking the money out of the business. They're putting the money back into the business, acquiring assets, doing advertising, doing marketing, continuing to improve. So what you'll see is you'll see companies over time make no profit, and then all of a sudden it hockey sticks up and their like profit goes through the roof. A good example of this is Delrick Clinical Research.
Oh.
Talking to them about this,
a little shout out.
They're like, oh man, what are some tax reduction strategies?
We need to spend some money here.
We need to spend money, but they're in a really cool spot where they've continued to reinvest with their business, and they're finally ready to start reaping some of what they've been sowing for several years.
Yeah.
They've continued to reinvest, and now they're like, okay, well, we're going to definitely make some serious profit this year. So how should we be managing our money? How should we be managing our taxes in order to account for that? And so it's a really cool position from them. And we've helped them increase their efficiency, increase their profitability, increase the amount of money that they're making. And we've done that through our one-on-one coaching. It's pretty good.
So 21% of their household wealth is in private businesses, another 20% in the market in general. I think part of the point here, too, is that once they get there, or along their path to get there, they say, well, if this business totally tanks, I'm still going to have 80% of my money.
Yeah.
If the market just goes to crap, I'm still going to have like 80% of my money.
Right.
If this thing just totally, like a building catches on fire and for some reason I didn't pay the insurance that week, and I'm still going to have like 60% of my money.
Yeah.
They're diversifying their liability, as well as investing in other opportunities where maybe they make some extra money.
That's right.
Okay, that was characteristic number 10. All right, Marshall, those were the 10. Those were the 10 characteristics there. Anything for the people at home, the people that are just waiting to hear what's on your heart right now, on Marshall F. Morris's heart?
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting all episode to say this, but I really think you look nice in that shirt today.
Well, I appreciate that.
For everybody listening on a podcast format, it is a green long sleeve shirt.
Yeah, but just imagine it's like nicer than any green long sleeve shirt you've ever worn. Just to sell the vision here.
Yeah, not that nice stuff.
I mean, I did get it from Target for I think $6. I think it was on sale.
Living below your means.
I think it was on sale. I think it was on sale for like $6.
Gosh, you got a great return on that investment.
Great return on that investment. All right, folks, that was the 10 characteristics of the self-made millionaires. We will be back next time with episode 77, the 2 sevens. But that's it for episode 76. Over there to my left, Marshall F. Morris. Over here, Daniel McKenna. Kaboom.